When Anthony Peaks, better known as Apache, asks,
"So who'll be my next gangsta bitch?"
closing out the verses of a song in which he spins tales about his violence-prone, gun-toting significant others, he could have asked himself about his next career move as well. As a member of the Flavor Unit, a crew that included Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, and DJ Mark the 45 King, Apache was destined to be a one-hit wonder. After starting his rhyming career in a 1990 Flavor Unit compilation, his single, Gangsta Bitch, released 2 years later with a jazzy sample and thundering kicks sewn together by Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest, made it to the top 20 section of the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. It was also 27 spots away from being a top 40 pop smash. Apache's career quickly petered out after that, however, and he disappeared completely by the end of the 90s, when he finally did resurface in January of 2010. It was at online obituaries. Of course, when news broke of Apache's unfortunate passing, possibly due to heart-related issues, he had reportedly ballooned to over 300 pounds during his last years, it was only natural for fans and journalists to instantly remember Gangsta Bitch. Well, it's easy to forget that he actually followed up his underground hit with his debut album, Apache Ain't Shit. Yeah, Gangsta Bitch is included, joined in unholy matrimony with 13 other cuts, most of which make it sound like a bubblegum pop record from Hannah Montana. For the initiated who still wonder what to expect of Apache in this LP, even after listening to the single, well, Tonto should put an end to your uncertainty. Apparently the guy was so enamored with his genitals that he decided to give it a nickname, and it sure wasn't Jimmy or Johnson.
I'm not a fighter, come get your rock. See you off, give it back to you in a ziploc.
Oh my, talk about lethal pleasure. That's Apache's favorite topic, sex. And it so happens to be his strongest. So yes, a song like Tonto sounds incredibly juvenile, but there's the sunny ragamuffin flavored track, Hey Girl, which works as a softer alternative, and then there's Woodchuck, where Apache and his fellow Flavor Unit cohorts, Lati, C, who was a member of Brothers of the Black Market, Double J, and hip-hop anthem champions Naughty by Nature, take turns in metaphorically corrupting a popular tongue twister.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Among the most hilarious lines in the onslaught, one that appropriates that famous Teddy Roosevelt phrase. You know, the one about the big stick.
I can talk softly, but I carry a big...
That makes sense.
It certainly does.
Who Freak 2, though, is distinctively remarkable in a sea of unbridled male bravado. Here, female guest and Flavor Unit comrade, Nikki D, who had enjoyed her share of success with the single Daddy's Little Girl less than 2 years earlier, counterpunches Apache in quite an enthralling battle of the sexes rap. Just when Apache soars with lines like,
You found my spot, got on top, tried to twist and twirl. Daddy, now you're Apache's little girl.
Nikki stretches out her hands to pull him crashing down to earth with a rebuttal like,
You ain't all that, you ain't the softest. Couldn't find in a gynecologist's office.
Yep, words that no proud heterosexual male wants to hear. Why such lurid lyrics work? Well, to a certain extent anyway, is that Apache is willing to admit that he's wrong. The problem, however, is that he doesn't care. He doesn't just stop with the album title itself. He dedicates a whole title track to his nihilism, rapping over a rapid concoction of funky guitar licks and a galloping drum beat as if he was in a hurry to hop onto the next chick.
So like Pringles, you can't eat just one.
He philosophizes. No wonder he takes less than 30 seconds to finish off the tramp at the beginning of the song. More talented rappers can pull off this kind of subject matter throughout an album, but Apache is far from a technical great. His flow, delivery, and attempts at eternal rhyming are average at best. So thankfully there are spots in the album where all matters carnal are virtually absent from his mind. Do for Self is an amusing reminder of why Apache is not exactly the best choice as motivational speaker at an elementary school. Make Money partly plays like a hilarious tutorial on how women can financially milk their lovers dry, and Get Your Weight Up and Ways of a Murderer are satisfactory, tough talk respites. Plus, the beats are serviceable enough, and there are actually a number of highlights. Some first-time listeners will recognize the cymbal accented David Axelrod sample used for Lil Wayne's Dr. Carter in Tonto. Large Professor shows up for the previously mentioned Hey Girl. Diamond D is behind the boards for the snappy drums, bass licks, and horns of Who Freak 2. Get Your Weight Up writes the French nursery memory of Frère Jacques. The 45 King nicely jacks an organ-based portion of the James Bond theme for Do For Self and ties it to rumbling, thundering drums. And Woodchuck and Ways of a Murderer rely on a dark, haunting vibe to give the lyrics some extra pep. 3 tracks, though, are completely unnecessary, as if the aura of unfettered sexual appetite wasn't enough. Blooded Snap Section, a 3-minute skit of vulgar men and women flinging lame sex jokes at each other, was thrown in the mix. A few songs back, and you have A Fight, which, despite the admittedly catchy hook, is an extolment of violent racial retaliation, peppered with racial epithets that any sane person would condemn. And the 17-second skit that immediately follows it, Kill the White People, plays as a racist postscript, as Apache laughs at his chants about coaxing those of the Caucasian persuasion to buy his record before disposing of them, as if he's some paragon of wit. Maybe throwing in a 4-letter word in the album title wasn't exactly the best marketing decision, but the truth is, hardly anybody white or otherwise bought the self-deprecatingly titled Apache Ain't Shit. The Gangsta Bitch hitmaker was able to score guest appearances in Tupac and Fat Joe albums, which coincidentally came out the same year his did. But he never issued a full-length follow-up, reportedly preferring instead to focus on ghostwriting. And after his last recorded performance, in Latifah's 1998 single, Bananas, Apache converted to Christianity and stopped performing his songs altogether. Regardless of how he felt about his body of work during his last years, though, Apache Ain't Shit, even with the conventional contrived gangster rap subject matter, is actually an okay record with raw, uncompromising lyrics supported by blistering, bass-heavy, horn-punctured beats typical of early 90s Eastern US rap. And Gangsta Bitch may have inspired some of the Bad Boy and Bad Girl singles that have come out of hip-hop and R&B ever since. Because every once in a while, which red-blooded male with a sense of guilty pleasure wouldn't want to be whisked away to a world where your girlfriend is willing to shoot guns with you in the park, puff blunts and sip Heineken, and call you Diamond because you're her best friend?